There's a lot of teammate battles that are interesting this year, and some might say a few of them could be career defining. Sebastian Vettel versus Lance Stroll, and Esteban Ocon versus Fernando Alonso to name a few. But in my opinion, the most important one is at McLaren, specifically for Lando Norris. He's had a positive start to his F1 career both on and off the track, and has gained a cult following amongst hardcore and casual F1 fans alike, as well as the wider world outside of the sport with his streaming exploits on Twitch. However, in the cutthroat world of F1, you're only as good as your last race, and the end of season points tally often shows a clear picture on how each driver compares to their teammate. Now that Lando has fully settled into McLaren and integrated himself into the sport nicely, I think now is the perfect opportunity to discuss why I believe 2021 is not only crucial for him to show his full ability in a competitive midfield, but also the potential development of what sort of driver he'll be in the future. Now I want to be clear right from the off, Lando Norris is very talented and deserves his place in F1, there's no doubt in that. Right from the beginning of his junior career he showed speed, racecraft and adaptability as he dominated karts and was immediately up to the task when he made the step up into cars, winning the likes of the MSA Championship, Formula Renault 2.0, the Toyota Racing Series and F3 Euro Series, whilst he finished second in F2 in 2018 behind George Russell. To sum it up, the man can certainly race, but winning junior categories doesn't guarantee success at the top. Look at Jan Magnussen, who for those who don't know is Kevin's dad. He obliterated the competition in F3, beat Senna's win record in the process, and he was regarded as the next superstar, yet his F1 career was a flop. Now just to reiterate, I'm not saying that Lando's been a disappointment in F1 so far. He's shown the pace and consistency that gives drivers a long career in the sport. We've seen this as he's scored a countless number of points finishes and has shown glimpses of brilliance, such as his podium in Styria and his stellar qualifying performance at Abu Dhabi in 2020, the latter albeit with a new power unit. He's only been up against the smooth operator Carlos Sainz so far and he's been quite competitive, although I believe Carlos has had many more moments where the F1 gods have gone against him, especially in the first half of last season. And for me, these are the reasons the pair were so close to each other in the championship. Carlos is a solid driver, and Lando did well to be on his pace a lot of the time, but questions will really be asked this season due to his new teammate Daniel Ricciardo arriving at McLaren. The reason why I think this season is so crucial for Lando is that Daniel is a known quantity. We know the sort of driver he is and what he can bring to a team. Yes, he's obviously much more experienced than Lando, but as a benchmark he's arguably in his prime, and most will say he's currently better than Sainz. Therefore, this will be the first time that Lando goes up against a driver that people rate amongst the big three of Hamilton, Verstappen and Leclerc. Daniel will want to establish himself from the outset. We've seen him achieve multiple podiums and wins, and I'm sure he'll try to continue the momentum he had at Renault last year going into this season. And if McLaren continue to improve further up the grid when the new aero regulations come into effect for 2022, he will aim to be the main man at the team fighting for a world championship. Lando will need to find a way to counteract this, as this should now be his team that Daniel is walking into. When Lando joined the team in 2019 for his rookie season, he was a bit more aware of his surroundings and took his time to adapt. I believe the reason why him and Carlos had a great relationship was because he was enjoying having the opportunity to learn and develop in an environment with little pressure, whilst knowing his place in the team. We saw this as he was quite cautious with his starts and overtaking manoeuvres, something he aimed to improve for 2020. And although things were quite similar, he did take it to Carlos a few more times. Silverstone comes to mind. Nevertheless, there's a big difference when a win or regular podiums are on the cards. And now that Daniel is present and the team are aiming for more, the pressure also increases. And I think Lando recognises this is the perfect moment he has to seize the opportunity to lead the team if these opportunities arise in the near future. The dynamic of the Lando-Daniel relationship also intrigues me. A lot of people are hyping this lineup to be a bit of a meme team based on a few funny moments in the paddock, but I feel like it's going to be very different to what people think. They've both got points to prove. Daniel wants to lead the team and challenge for a championship if the opportunity arises, but from what I can see, Lando has so much more. His status within the team is on the line. From what we've seen of them together so far, it's looked a bit awkward. But that's understandable, as in any job it takes time to get to know your new colleagues. The world of F1 isn't excluded in this. Daniel's bubbly personality can be quite intimidating for a lot of people, and for someone like Lando who is naturally more introverted, this could be amplified even further. So he'll want to make sure his voice is still heard in the team, given that a lot of the design work which has gone into this car would have been from his feedback over the last couple of seasons. However, Daniel doesn't take everything as a joke. There's a reason why he's nicknamed the Honey Badger. He's a serial winner and ultra competitive when he puts his helmet on. I'm sure Lando knows this and will do everything in his power to beat him on track. So you're probably wondering what I expect will happen for the upcoming season. Well, in my opinion, I think they'll be really close in qualifying. I actually think Lando might have this in the bag. He's always had raw speed, that's not been an issue. Whilst over his time with Sainz he won the qualifying battle 19-18. Daniel is also massively quick, and he obliterated Ocon in qualifying last season, who's certainly rapid on his day. But you have to take into account Esteban was out of the sport for a season, which can have serious implications on a driver's sharpness, especially over one lap. As the year progressed he was much closer. But when we're looking at the races, I think Lando will lose out. We've seen that Sainz was able to outrace him 16-11 over the course of the last couple of years, although we have to take into account he was a rookie for one of them. But even if you disregard the stats, Ricciardo has been at least on par with every teammate he's had, and two of those were Vettel and Verstappen, who he beat on a regular basis. He's just on a different level, and now that he's in his prime, I really do worry how Lando will react if he gets beaten race after race, as he's never been in that position before. But that's what you've got to go up against if you want to be the best. Lando has often been hyped as a future world champion by the media, probably due to his results in his junior career. And if he wants to reach those heights, he needs to beat everyone that goes alongside him, and how better to prove your worth than going against one of the best in Danny Ricciardo. When you look at the bigger picture, this really is a vital season for Lando. He's no longer considered a rookie, he's fully merged into every aspect of McLaren's operations, and he's had a lot of experience with the philosophy of the car, minus the Mercedes engine which is new for 2021. Yet a lot of questions remain to be asked. For me, it's not that we're questioning if he's got the talent required for F1, but what status he has in the team going forward. If Ricciardo comes in and dominates him from the outset, I can see Lando becoming a David Coulthard or Rubens Barrichello type driver. A great asset who scores regular points and podiums if possible, whilst the win is on the cards if he maximises his performance on the day. Obviously, whilst referencing this, I'm looking at the best case scenario of McLaren getting back to the front of the grid. It's perfectly okay for Lando to fit this mould. Both Barrichello and Coulthard were very successful. It's just that they weren't top tier like their teammates of the time, Schumacher and Hakkinen. Now if Lando does match or beat Daniel, then we've got an exciting year ahead. Let's hope the pair can channel their competitiveness in a positive way, as the atmosphere Andreas Seidel and Zach Brown have created has been incredible, and it's played a major role in them moving up the grid in the last few years. So I want to know what you guys think will happen to Lando this season. Will he match or beat Ricciardo? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Some of you might disagree with my opinion that this year is career defining for him, as it's only his third year in the sport. But with the modern world of F1 and the talent coming through the ranks, you have such a small time span to perform. I really hope Lando gives Daniel a run for his money. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to do the usual liking, subscribing and notification bell stuff. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, my link's in the description below. Anyway guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one.